guys. I'm just going to start my phone to see if I can make sure the feed's okay. How are you on this beautiful day? Bear with me. I will. Oh God, hello Andy. What are you doing here? Hi Diane, you alright? Alright. Hi Shell. If I miss people, I'm sorry. I'm not looking at my I'm not looking at the comments at the moment because I'm just trying to make sure the live feed's coming through okay. Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay. Oh, I just need to get something actually while you're tuning in. Hi Shell. If I miss people, I'm sorry. I'm not looking at my... Oh, I need to turn my phone off. Turn it down now because I can hear myself. That's no good. Turn that down, right. Okie dokie. So, who's had chocolate so far today? Tony bought us a little chocolate bunny to share between us, and we ate it last night. Oh, Andy, I know. It's awful, isn't it? Yeah, can't see anybody. I must admit, we're very lucky because we've got plenty of space here, but I'm going a bit stir crazy. We normally see our friends quite regularly and stuff, and although I don't see my family that often because they're miles away, but yeah, it's quite hard, really, to be honest. I'm sure we're all feeling it. What time does the pole dancing start? Yeah, not with me, mate. Right, okay. While we're waiting for whoever else wants to join in, I just want to show you this. This is the online workshop that I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks. You can get the kit online. Thank you for everybody so far who's ordered the kits. That's brilliant of you, thank you. But you can find all the details on our website. But I just thought I'd give you a bit of a close-up of what we're going to be doing. Okay. Right, so today I'm going to focus on this particular template. I've already done 3 lives now to do with these templates, and if you look on our website under, I think it's instructions or something like that, there is a section at the bottom which says A6 template tutorials or something like that. In there's a link to all 3 of the lives, so you don't have to keep trawling through Tando's Creative Zone to see if you can find them. Oh, Nick, you can't find a comment box again. That's really weird. Can anybody help Neat with finding a comment box on the screen? Is there something she needs to click? Oh, actually, you must have found it because you've commented. Is it April Fool's Day? Anyway, going back, going back to what I was saying, there is a link on, there are links on our website to link you to all 3 of the lives, and as I do more of these lives, I will add the links in, so you'll be able to find them really easily. Oh, it's hidden at the very bottom, Nate, is it? Okay. Right, we'll get started. Now, today I want to use, this is just a piece of watercolour paper. It's fairly thick actually, it's quite nice quality. Because I just wanted to sort of do, this is a very off the cuff demo. I haven't actually sort of practiced any of this or prepared any of it, which is normally what my lives are like anyway. But I just wanted to show you another way that you can use the templates if you haven't got any pattern paper at all, or if you don't want to use your plain card and then cut out smaller bits of pattern paper to stick over the top, which is what I showed you in the last one. If you haven't got double-sided papers, then of course this is another way, because double-sided papers are by far the easiest way to use these templates. But I want to sort of show you that they can be pretty versatile. Oh, is it Jade's birthday today? Oh, happy birthday, Jade. It was Tony's birthday yesterday. Not that we did much, apart from I drank gin. Right, okay, so I'm going to first of all show you that we can just trace around the edge of this. I'll use a pencil, probably more than, quite heavy, so you can actually see what I'm doing. If you're doing it yourself, you can do nice light lines so you haven't got any marks at the end of it. And then obviously we've got our score lines, which you can use one of these bone folders and you can run it down like that, or if you're very gentle you can use the back of a blade, a craft knife blade, and just run that down like that, whoops, without moving it. You're not supposed to move it while you're doing it though. Let's do that again, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to mark out the holes because I do want to use them. Like that. Right, and then we're going to cut this out. Morning, Celia. Right. Hopefully you can see roughly what I'm doing, although I am just doing a bit of boring old cutting out at the minute. So hopefully it won't take too long. As I say, I didn't pre-prep any of this, so I haven't got one that I can just pick up to the side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cut round the corners like that. I'm going to leave them square for a second. Hi Sandra. Like that. Okay, get those out of the way. And then I'm going to use just a little corner punch, which I'm sure a lot of us must have. And then you can just do your corners like that. This is quite tough card, so it's a bit of a job to press it down, but it does work. And then that way, if you're not very good at cutting round corners, you can use a corner punch, which is a lot easier. Be careful, Andy. I know you do lives as well. I think you're doing one tomorrow, aren't you? Question and answers one, is it? Yeah. If anybody's interested, of course, Andy's doing this live tomorrow. I don't know what time. What time is it, Andy? Can you let everyone know? You can also use fancy corner punches as well, if that's what you want to do. So now what I want to do is I'm just going to slap a bit of colour on it, really. I'm not going to do anything too fancy. I'll put it on with Brayer. So I'm just going to put the paint on the brayer rather than roll it out on a palette, I tend to find that saves a little bit of your paint. Otherwise you tend to have an awful lot of paint left on your palette. Okay, so we're just going to lightly bray it over a colour. And you don't want to completely cover, you want the white shining through, because that just adds a little bit more to it. Okay, like that. And then we're going to get another colour. Just pop that on your brayer. There's no need to clean your brayer if you're doing just a slightly different colour like this straight afterwards. Just clean it at the end. And then we shall just put a little bit of colour on there like that. Okay. So what I want to do is, see, already that looks fine. You can use that as is. There's nothing wrong with that. Be afraid, Andy. Be very afraid. Excuse my heat gun. It's dying on me. I think it's it keeps going on and off. Not quite sure what's wrong with it. Right. I'm going to turn that over, and then very quickly we're going to do the other side. Yeah. Which you could actually do in a completely different colourway. You don't have to stick to the same colours at all. So, which would actually look quite nice once it's all folded up. Okay. So we'll put that on there. Like that. A bit more. Okay. And that is fine, like that. I'm not going to bore you with putting loads and loads of layers of paint on. So pop that in there. Then I'm just going to dry this off quickly. Okay. So now we can essentially fold this up on your score lines, which you should be able to make out. And then at this stage, if you have got a bone folder, you want to really just run your bone folder down just to really enhance those creases on there a little bit. Okay. Like that. Okay. Now there's also a couple of crease lines further in, I think, if you remember these, and if you fold those as well, that gives your spine area a little bit more flexibility. I'll show you. So if we fold that up and then fold the other one like that, and then you can see it moves around and it just makes things, more layers please, no. Makes things sort of a little bit more flexible then. So that's basically your template. What we'll do now is we're just going to put a bit of colour around the edge, which I will do with a ink pad. So let's grab an ink pad and a trusty sponge. And we just whack a bit of colour around the edge just to give it a little something else. Okay, and then what can also look nice as well with these is if you just do down your score lines as well. Just add a little bit there and there and down that side and that side. Okay, now you could, at this point, you could go on, you could add some stamping, anything you want really. We could even ink the edges of the inside as well. I'm not going to, because you know what you're doing with that. So you can stamp, do all sorts of things, but what we can also use is other templates to decorate this. So I'll pop that to one side, and then what I'm going to do is take this template, which I think has got to be my favourite really, and then we're just going to draw around this again on a piece of watercolour paper. Like that. I'm trying to work standing up so I can see comments coming up at the same time, but I'm at a bit of a strange angle, but anyway, never mind, we'll get there. Like that. Okay. Take that. Oh, I've got to put my score line in, bear with. So, put that there, and then I just run the back of a craft knife down there, like that. And then we'll cut this out, scissors. Now I think in the last live, I said to you, if you've got a circle punch, they're a really good way to punch these out. I couldn't find mine at the time, and then I did find it. And now I've probably lost it again because I'm in such a mess on this desk. Oh no, there it is. I don't know if it's going to be strong enough to cut this paper, but we will try. So you can just put your circle punch in, and then you can punch your holes out like that. And that is easier than trying to cut round, because none of us are really that clever. You can do it with a craft knife on a piece of glass or on a household tile. That's not going to punch, hold on. That's it, sorry the camera's moving. I'm doing it on the same table. One, just empty that. And then that one. And then the last one. That's it, like that. Okay, so that's a little bit easier than trying to cut round. So that's just using a normal circle punch, like that. Again, if you have anything that's got a fancy shape to it, by all means. I think I used a square one last time and it worked just as well. So you've got your score line on here somewhere. Where is it? There it is, just there. So what we're going to do, what happens with this template, for anybody that's not seen this before, that folds up and it creates pockets for tags. So what we're going to do is we're just going to colour that, but I'm going to do slightly different colours. Let me just grab a couple. I tidied up this morning and threw them all in a box, so and then I had to dig them all out again, which was a bit silly really. I've got the green one. Yeah, there it is. Right. So again, I'm going to use a brayer, and again, you don't want to cover up all the white. So we'll put nice clean brush is best. Get another one. We're going to put this straight on the brayer as before. Like that. And cover it like that. And then we'll get a bit of the green. I'm not going to bother to clean it. Okay, like that. And then we'll just touch that in over the top, like that. And then on the other side, I think what I will do is I'll do the green. So let's put a bit more green on. Now I think what I'll do is I'll do the yellow first. So let's put a bit of yellow on first. Told you this wasn't rehearsed, it's completely off the cuff. So like that, which put on there, and then a little bit of the green, a little bit more green. Now you don't actually need to see all of this because a lot of it's going to be covered up, but it's just easier to brayer the whole thing. And then after I've just cleaned that up, I'll give it a blast just to dry it off. Like that. And then we can fold that up. So you can decide now whether you want it to look like that or whether you want it to look like that. The choice is yours because you've done all over of both sides. So it's worth doing it like that. I think I prefer it that way. So I'm going to run my bone folder down the edge. Now, you saw me doing this template on the previous live, so I won't go to all the trouble of showing you how to do all the tags and everything again because you've seen all that, you can watch that back. But that can actually pop in there, like that. And that just adds another bit of interest to it. Or you could have it on the inside of the fold over if you want to. You can place it wherever you like. This is the beauty of it. Okay. So that's one way of doing it. Now, there's another thing that you can do. Let me just cut off another piece of paper. Now this time I'm going to use the same template, but I'm not going to cut these out because you don't have to. You can leave them straight. So what we'll do is we'll draw around there. So draw around the two straight edges down each side, and then just touch in across the top there and there. We want to do the score line like that. Okay. And then if you've got something straight, so the edge of the template is fine, you can just join that up like that and like that. Okay, I'll cut that out. Like that. Now what we're going to do this time is we're going to just put a plain cover on top, just paint it one flat colour. It doesn't matter which colour it is. So I think I will do the yellow. No, actually I won't. I'll do the green because then it'll show up better. So that. Okay, and then I'll give that a blast. We'll flip that over and I will do that in some blue on the other side, just a flat colour again. Like that. Don't worry too much if it's not quite perfect because we've got another stage to this yet. So let me dry that off. I put rather a lot of paint on this layer, so it might take a little while. Yeah, my apologies. Oh, just caught it with my heat gun. That's it. Not that it matters. Bit longer. Sorry about this. I was a bit overzealous with my heat gun. Sorry, with my paint. So it's a little bit wet. Doesn't matter that we've got marks on the back. You'll see why. Right, that should do. Right, so now, before I fold it, you can see the score line there. Before I score that up, I'm going to take an embossing folder. So I'll pop that in the embossing folder, like that. And I'll run it through the Big Shot, so I'll be back. It's a good idea to use a design that doesn't matter which way round it sits. If you use something with text on it, you're going to have some of it look backwards, which might look a bit odd. So, don't know how well you can see this, but there is a pattern on there, and you've got the in relief and the positive and negative there. So we know that our score line is there. What we'll do now is we'll get another colour. So I'll grab some white. I did have some white here. Bear with. Yeah, there it is. And I will pop some white down. And then what I'll do is I'll brayer over some white. So you want to make sure your brayer's clean. You will need a clean brush, so hopefully mine's clean enough. We shall see. And we'll put some white on your brayer. And you don't want it really, really thick. You want just a reasonable layer, just so you're going to make a bit of mark of paint on your piece. So we'll put that there like that. And then what we're going to do then is very gently run this across. So you just pick up the embossing. Nice and gentle. You don't want to be too heavy-handed because then it will just go down in between. Like that. So I'll dry that off. And then flip that over. And we'll put some more white on your brayer again, not too thick. Like that, and we'll just pick up the other side. Now, of course, you can put as many different layers of colour on before you run through the embossing folder as you like. I'm just doing this quickly because most of you know to do lots of different layers. And I've got other lives which is showing you how to do your layers, so I don't want to sort of keep repeating everything. And you can apply any paint techniques that you know. So once we've done that, we can try and pick up our score line. If you can't find it, which I can't, we can do it again. Not a problem. So run that down there like that, and then that then is another way of decorating some of the elements inside. Now if you've only just joined, I did cut out this one, which you can cut out with a circle punch, which you can do the same on this one, but I didn't want you to watch it all again. So if you watch back the live, you'll just see how I punched that out with a circle one. And then again, you see that will just fit in to your folder like that. So it's just another element that you can do. Now the running through an embossing folder, this kind of thing, you can do with any of the templates. The only thing I will say is if you want to do it on the main pages, I actually used a slightly oversized embossing folder. I think most of them are this size, which is a bit smaller, and they don't quite fit, which is a bit sad really. It would have been nice if they would have just fitted. So when you run it through, you get a little bit of a gap at the bottom. So you can, of course, cover that up with an embellishment, but there's no reason why you can't use it for your pages. It's just obviously you've got to be aware of that. And again, you see, this is a texty one, so you'd want to be quite careful doing things in text because you want it to look the right way up, or not back to front, if you like. But there are ways that you can use your embossing folders just in areas. You know, there's lots of things you can do. So that's that. Again, you can still run your ink around the edges like we've done on this one. And that's just showing you another way that you can incorporate these into your templates. So the last thing I want to show you with this particular template, I just wanted to point out there's different ways you can use this. So this is the way I thought of when I designed it. Now, I believe on the live that has got all the design team samples in it, there is one there from Karen Gist, and she's actually used it the other way around. So she hasn't punched out the holes there, but she's punched holes in this side. And she hasn't used the middle score line, I don't think. So that one she hasn't used. She's just used that one and that one. And then what it created was like a gusset pocket. So it looked more like that. And then that way you could sort of have things inside that are a bit more bulky, which is really nice. You could have some half pages or something going up. And you can use your score lines to add extra score lines. So reverse this. So you can use that as your guide, and then put another score line in there, and it's already given you the width that you need. So it's versatile in the sense that you can use them in other ways. Now, the other thing that I was going to show you is something that Celia did, which I thought was brilliant. See, this is the beauty of the design team doing stuff, because they do stuff. I don't tell them how to use the templates, I just send them to them, and they do stuff with the templates that I'd never thought of. And if you want really good inspiration, then look at the design team live that I did, where I showed you all the samples in a closer detail, and it really gives you lots of ideas. So the last thing is you can just put a little mark there and there, like that. And then you can, on a cutting mat, let's just move this out the way a little bit, like that. On a cutting mat, we will just create a slit. You can use the edge of your template if you haven't got a ruler, as long as you're careful, because the plastic will cut if you're not careful with your knife. So we'll just run a little slit down there, like that, so you can see that slit there. And then when that closes, that will just pop in there like that. And that's just a really nice way of closing it up, I think. Or you can just get a little strip of your pattern card, whatever you want to do, and you could create a little tab that you put over as well, which would also work. So that's another way of doing things. So anyway, oh, hi Jan, you're just in from a run. I think that's about it for this one. I will do more, covering more of the templates, build up a bit of a library and a catalogue. I don't want to sort of make the lives too long, because then you just feel like you're trawling through all of them. So I'll try and do sort of fairly short lives. And yeah, that's about it. Now, I did ask this morning in the group about doing some different size templates, and I think the consensus was that A5 would be nice. So I'm working on it, and we will be getting those out at some point. They will be probably slightly different in the sense that there'll be more tabs and things that you would need to create, because obviously some of the templates are quite long and nobody has paper that long. So you just need to have more tabs and things to put the pages together. But I think they're going to work really well. So we'll work on that. So that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the sunshine while it's here, because I think we're going down to 8 degrees tomorrow, after this glorious mid-20s that we've been having. So that's going to be a bit of a bit of a shock to the system, but I've got plenty of work to do, so I'll get on with that. So enjoy your Easter Sunday, enjoy your chocolate, enjoy whatever you're having for dinner, and I shall catch you all soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.